All right, here it is. The NeuroPack by 1109 Bravo. All right, it is not a joke. It is not a gimmick. It's not a toy. And they're not a sponsor. Now, I'll explain all of those to you throughout this video. I posted some pictures of this yesterday and I had no idea I was going to get the response that I have gotten, but I'm really glad about that. I'm glad people have a lot of interest in A, in what I'm doing, and B, this NeuroPack. So I just wanted to kind of explain in a long form video about exactly what this thing does, exactly why I'm talking about it, and why you're gonna see here in a few days, when I get my boat wrapped, you're gonna see 1109 Bravo on there because I wanna talk about it. I'll explain that plus the backstory here in just a few minutes. But first of all, this is a physical human performance device. Does it look funny and goofy and silly? Yeah, it does. It does, I'll be honest with you. Especially if you see it, when I'm wearing it on the front of this boat, that's gonna look funny. It's gonna look goofy, it's gonna look weird. Is it gonna be for everybody? Absolutely not. It is gonna be for a very few percentage of the fishermen out there. Let me back up one step. I'm not a normal fisherman. As far as physically, I take my fitness very seriously. And if you guys follow me, you know I do two things. I take my fitness seriously, I take my family seriously, and I take my fishing pretty seriously. But I don't tell lies, I don't tell gimmicks, and I back everything that I promote and talk about, I back up because I don't BS you. I tell you just like it is. This 1109 Bravo, I'm telling you, it's the real deal, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Now, if you know me, I'm also still the dude that has this thing. If you didn't see that video, I talk about how to prevent tendonitis, and it takes prevention to get ahead of tendonitis rather than once you get tendonitis. It is a mother to try to get away. I've been fishing for over 20 years, 22 years roughly, full time. I've never had any issues with tendonitis because I work on the prevention side of it. I've always been into fitness, but working out and preventing tendonitis are two different things. So I use this device to help prevent tendonitis. I'm doing like a 10 or 15 minute routine with this thing twice every other day before the season starts. That just kind of give you a little background of what my thought process is. But this 1109 Bravo, or I should say the NeuroPack from 1109 Bravo, that's the name of the company. It was initially designed because the now owner of 1109 Bravo was a former Marine and a 20-year athletic trainer. So he has extensive experience in the military and on human performance and how to try to make athletes faster, better, stronger, etc. So he was tasked by the U.S. Special Operations of the military with coming up with a device that can help get their troops battle ready faster. So his first device looked nothing like this. It was very crude looking, by the way. It was very crude looking. It was clunky, it was big, it was heavy. This thing is, basically plastic and carbon fiber, and it doesn't weigh hardly anything. So you can do all your ranges of motion without feeling bogged down by the weight of it. It's more about the resistance throughout the planes of motion that you're going to be in. We'll get to that more in a second. So Chris Tedesco is his name. He was tasked with this. He came up with this device. Had no idea what he was really creating. Just thought that he was going to take his passion for human performance and and merge that with the military. Came up with this device. They tested it. Once they tested this device, the results were blew him away, because he's a guy that reads all the studies on exactly what movements, what plane of motion, the eccentric, the concentric portions of the movement of muscle performance, what it takes to stimulate the muscle to grow, to make it go faster, all this kind of stuff. That's his bag. So when he got the results back from the U.S. operations on exactly what this thing did for their troops, he was blown away. He didn't know what he had created when he created it, but he quickly found out this thing is very special in a number of ways. And the more it gets tested, you can go on the website. There'll be a link down below on that's just the research. You can just kind of scroll down and click on all the other things in there, and it'll give you a little idea on all the research that has already been done with this thing. And some of the results have been astounding. Now we're talking, so what he found out is that they told him, normally when the Air Force sends their troops home off duty and they come back on duty, it takes them approximately 12 weeks to get them physically battle ready. Utilizing the NeuroPack, they found that was 2 weeks faster. That was going to be 10 weeks. That's very important to the Army. They want to get their troops in better condition faster. The NeuroPack did that. They implemented the NeuroPack in their training that they were already doing. They had control groups and all that kind of stuff, and they got back into condition faster. So this, there's a long explanation on exactly how that works, but the long and the short of it is there is added resistance, as you can see with these bands on the sides. And these bands also are attached to my legs. So no matter what plane of motion you're going in, you're lunging, you're doing this, you're playing golf, you can swing a golf club, no problem with this on your back. You can fish with this on. You can, throw a football. You can play tennis. You can do this. Anything that you can do physically in a sport, you can do wearing the NeuroPack. And that's how he designed it, because he designed it for people doing this with rifles and in the field of battle, running, doing all these training exercises with guns, coming up and doing all these exercises with arms for the military. That's what he designed this thing for. So what he realized is you can do all of those same things, the same types of motion in sport, whether it's volleyball or soccer or baseball or football. Any of these sports, people want to be faster. They want to be able to do their specific movement better. And that's what the NeuroPack does. And the more they test it, the more they find out how good this thing really is. And here's the quick version. This is not something that I'm going to be wearing during Bassmaster competition. It could be something that I wear during practice. If I wear this during practice, I'm only going to wear it in 15 to 20 minute intervals, possibly 30 minutes. Because I can tell you, just right here, I've been standing here with this thing on for 8 minutes right now, and I'm starting to get a little taxed just to keeping my arms up. So it's not meant to wear all day. And if people ask, oh, well, what if you fall in the water while you're fishing? I'm going to do this number, and I'm going to swim, and you're going to go, because this pack only weighs, I don't know, less than 2 pounds, pound and a half. It'll weigh a hell of a lot less than the clothes you have on. I can promise you that, especially when they're wet. So this is not going to impede you swimming in any way. And I promise you, swimmers are using this to train. And you'll see this device, I feel like, in the next few years, being used by a lot of pro sports teams. It's going to be used by a lot of college sports teams. And I'm talking everything from what I just mentioned, swimming, to soccer, to, you name it. Football, obviously, baseball, golf. All these different sports are going to start using this thing because of the crazy data that comes out of using it and then taking it off and simulating the same activity. So, just in some of the initial tests, they've had golfers come in to where they measure their swing speed and their ball flight distance and all that kind of stuff. And then they wear the pack for 15 minutes, hit a bunch of golf balls. Then they take the pack off, and then they hit golf balls again, and all of a sudden it's going further. And the data is indisputable. It's quite remarkable on that data and how well it actually stimulates. And what it does is, I think that kind of the best way to describe it, in layman's terms, was a term that was used by one of the strength and conditioning coaches for one of the NFL teams that Chris met with about 2 months ago, a month or two ago, I think, at this point. And he got the full explanation. Chris showed him exactly how it worked. And when he saw it, he said, this thing's like a genetic cheat code. That was his term. It's a genetic cheat code, because what it does is it stimulates your central nervous system, putting all of this different pressure in planes of motion that it's not accustomed to. It naturally, it strengthens your posture. So I've already had people ask me, is this thing going to help with back pain while I'm out there on the water? It very well might. I don't have any real world data for you yet. My stepson had shoulder surgery this summer, and when he fishes for extended periods of time, his back has a lot of pain, and you know, Noah's gonna be testing it a little bit to give you some real world data. I luckily don't have any back pain that nags me. From time to time I do, but I try to do a lot of prevention with stretching and rolling on a daily basis to try to prevent all of that. And as I mentioned before, I do all these things to try to prevent problems from coming in the future. So that's kind of why I really got, you know, excited about this NeuroPak. And then one more thing before I tell you the entire backstory, which I think is really cool, and why I'm associated with this 1109, is that it's $800. Like I said, it is not a toy, it's not a gimmick. It is made with high quality components. This exact pack that I'm wearing right here has been tested by the military. Chris, the owner of the company, has been very surprised at how well it has held up. I mean, they've done multiple training regimens using this thing for over a year, and they've not even had to replace any of these bungees, any of the straps, any of the clips, any of that kind of stuff. The pack, nothing. And they're, you know, the armed forces, they're using this thing outdoors. They're, you know, jumping in creeks and running across, you know, walls and all kind of stuff with this pack on. So, I mean, it's not like they're babying it or using it, you know, in a super dry, you know, environment like this. I mean, they're actually using it like you're supposed to be using, like the device was designed for, and it's holding up extremely well. So it's not a toy. It's made with very high quality components, and that's why it costs what it costs. So that's the 1109 Bravo pack, or the NeuroPak by 1109 Bravo. And let me just tell you the whole backstory. So if you've been watching this far, you may be curious, all right, John, what the heck are you doing with this thing? Why are you talking about it? Why are you wearing it? Why are you even bringing it up? Well, I really just posted those pictures yesterday to kind of explain, when people see 1109 Bravo on my jersey or my boat, why am I putting that on there? They are not a sponsor. I tried to, you know, want people to know this is what 1109 Bravo makes, is the NeuroPak. I didn't realize people would be so interested in the entire story. So long time friend of mine, Ken Hoover, who just passed away recently, unfortunately to cancer. He was in his 70s. Ken, I've known Ken for, oh my gosh, almost I'd say right around 15 years. And Ken came to the Elite Series to try to help anglers eat better. He wanted to fuel the anglers and hydrate the anglers properly so that we could perform better out there on the water. Ken has been a trainer he was a trainer for 30 years. He's been all over the country, trained all kind of athletes. He's trained bodybuilders, he's trained professional athletes, he's run gyms. This was his life. These kind of studies and that is his life. That's all he cared about, and he loved it. And he wanted to make people perform better by feeding them properly and by making sure that they worked out properly. And if there was something that could get them to where they wanted to be, they could be they want to be faster or perform better at whatever activity they were doing, he was on it. And he was the one that told me about the NeuroPak. He called me up a couple months back and said, John, I got something for you. I know it's kind of a reach for fishing, but you're crazy. You're a workout guy, and you're going to totally get this thing. And he explained it to me, and he said, man, they're really not even on the market yet. This was a couple months ago. He's really not even on the market yet. Do you want one? I said, is it the real deal, Ken? He said, absolutely. He said, I'm telling you, John, in my lifetime, I've seen probably 3 revolutionary pieces of equipment that changed the way that, you know, sports trainers train athletes. I've seen maybe 3 of them. He said, this is absolutely in the top 3. He said, and when it's done, it's going to either be 1 or 2. He said, I'm putting it right up there with dumbbells. Like it's that revolutionary to be able to train athletes to do their activity better. I said, that's all I need to hear. I said, dude, send me one. And I did not get very much of a discount off what you see on the website right now. I got a little bit off just because Ken was friends with Chris Tedesco, the owner of 1109 Bravo. And I got a little discount off of it. I bought it immediately. And as soon as I saw it, I got it. He explained it very well. I went on the website, I saw the videos, I was like, yes, I got to have this thing. So I got it. I've played around with it, but since I've gotten it, it's been really cold in Virginia. I have not had a chance to really practice fish with this thing on to give all you guys out there a lot more real world experience. But the data, which I mentioned is in a link below, all of the data is indisputable about increasing human performance in whatever activity that you're trying to do. So that's why I was so excited about it. As soon as I got it, I said, man, this is really cool. I really want one. So I'm a customer. I bought one immediately. Ken, I mean, just absolutely, until the day he passed, was over the moon about this piece of equipment and about using it. So I told Ken, basically how excited I was about it and how cool I thought the thing was. And he said, John, I know Chris personally, and I might be able to have you invest into the company if you'd like to do so. And for me, I'm a fisherman, and I'm a business guy with missile baits, but I was looking for a good investment that was non-market, something off the market. I mean, everybody's kind of looking for, the cryptocurrencies because they don't have access to things like this. So he introduced me to Chris. At the time, they were trying to raise a little bit more money in order to increase operations. That's what companies do. That's what small companies do as they grow. They need more capital to continue to grow. So I invested in 1109 Bravo. All you guys know, I'm full disclosure. I'm gonna tell you the real deal. That's the real deal. I invested in 1109 Bravo, put some of my hard-earned dollars into this company, and because I just totally believed in it. And I looked at their whole lifespan of what they've done from day one. I've talked with Chris numerous times. He is a very well-principled, very good human being, very nice guy. I think he's really onto something. I think that this pack, as soon as I saw it and understood the data, and I saw some of the studies that were done for it, I was blown away. And I said, man, I want to be associated with this thing because I think it's going to go to the moon. I think it's just going to go through the roof. I think basically all the pro sports teams are going to be utilizing it in their training. I think that there's going to be all kind of collegiate sports, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be using it. I think down to the club level, you're going to be going, taking your son to his AAU basketball practice, or you're taking your daughter to her, softball practice, or you're taking your, one of your kids to one of their basketball, volleyball, whatever their practice at the club level. I think within 2 to 3 years, you're going to see this apparatus being used pretty commonly because of how drastically different and improving it can make your performance. I think it's going to be utilized in physical therapy. There is all kind of new information coming out about Parkinson's patients and stimulating their nervous system and creating brain activity that they've not been able to achieve by any other physical method. So there are a lot of other avenues other than just through sports. Then you got the health factor. Then there's also the military factor. And since Chris is in military, that's where that's where it started. The military can't wait to get their hands on these, and the Air Force is in. Other branches are in discussions right now. So I think that those the Department of Defense is already approved vendor. There's a lot of awesome positive energy and potential with the company, and it's because the pack actually works. It does what it says it's going to do. It's not a joke. Yes, it is $800, but a lot of people are not me and you. If you're a fisherman, you're an angler, you understand this boat's $100,000. It's unbelievable that they've gotten that expensive. But let's go past the boat. Look at all those rods over there. all those rods over there. We're talking, I don't know, 30 rods over there, plus all the reels. There's 5 to 10 grand in rod and reels right over there. Most people that are not fishermen would say that is completely ridiculous. Why would you spend all of that money? Why do you need 30 rods and reels? But if you're like me and you're a bass head and you're a bass junkie, you're going to say, no, I need those. I need them. You need to have them. Even if you're just a fun fisherman and you like to fish tournaments on the weekend, you fish wildcats on Wednesday just so you can beat your brother Billy, you're going to be just like me and you're going to have way more rods than you probably need. But that's okay, and you don't question that. Well, if you're serious about physical performance, you know, if your daughter plays in a travel volleyball team, you know how much money you're spending on an annual basis. And if you want your daughter to perform better, you're going to have her wearing one of these. I know my daughter's going to be wearing this. She's already gotten over the that looks goofy factor, dad. So now she's going to kind of start utilize it in her training, and I'll give you some updates, you know, later on once I have more about that, about her usage of it, my usage of it. I'm taking it with me to Florida when I go to the First Elite Series event. I'm going to be using it in practice when I'm out there before practice, when I'm out there on the water, just trying to get my body ready for that activity of fishing. And again, it's not something you wear for the entire time that you're going to be on the water, because if it did, you would absolutely be drained. I promise you couldn't make it through a 12-hour day wearing this thing and fishing at the same time. So that's the full story. If you have any other questions or anything, any other comments, please drop them down there, man. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Obviously, you've seen, you know, probably my reactions from the pictures and a lot of people's comments. A lot of people just don't understand it. They don't understand it, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But I appreciate you having interest and seeing what I'm talking about. But yeah, this thing is not a toy. It's not a joke. It's going to be used in training. It's going to be used in healthcare. It's going to be used in the military. It's a really cool deal. So now you can, in 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 years, you can go, you know what? I saw Cruz do a video on that a bunch of years ago. Man, he was way ahead of the curve. So there it is. NeuroPack by 1109 Bravo. Again, any more questions, and you let me know. And I'm going to take this thing off because my shoulders are extremely taut from doing this number the whole time. Maybe I should use it before I do my seminars. Hey, you.